All right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. Got a whole bunch of good crypto news stuff for you today. The first thing I want to talk about is the Cryptopia situation. So I'll pretty much stay with this until it's been regulated and finished, whatever the word for it is. So first of all, on a tweet 21 hours ago, they say we are aiming to have Cryptopia site reopened as read only by Monday. So that means you're not going to be to be able to withdraw or probably anything else for now. And then about 6 minutes ago, they said we have transitioned 24% of all of our wallets to our new secure servers. Once the read-only site is online, we'll be keeping users up to date on which wallets have been checked and secured via the coin page. So, another thing they said a little while ago is that they're pleased to announce the return of both of our founders, Adam Clock and Rob Dawson, back into Cryptopia. Their focus will be set a clear strategic direction moving forward. So apparently they rehired their original founders or something like that. I'm not really sure what that tweet actually means, but perhaps those two guys were a little bit better at security than the new crew. So what does this mean? So by Monday, you should be able to access Cryptopia and check your wallet balances. So now this isn't really stated in fact, but from what I have read on all of the articles about this hack is that they lost about 10% of all of their holdings. So if they only lost about 10% of their holdings, that means they have a lot left. And from all of the articles that said that they have lost things, it was all ERC20 and Ethereum tokens. So I assume the hackers somehow got into the private keys that were for Ethereum, for all of their Ethereum and ERC20 tokens on the site. So it's likely that if you had Ethereum or any ERC20 token, or at least most of them, on Cryptopia, those are probably gone. However, again, by Monday, you should be able to log in and check. So this means likely to, what this says to me, in my opinion, is that their Bitcoin, Litecoin, various other coins, things like that, maybe even Tether and other things like that, are probably okay. Because it seems to me like the hackers got a hold of all of the Ethereum token and Ethereum wallet addresses. So there's that. On Monday, you guys could probably check with Cryptopia and check your wallets, because it will be read-only, so you shouldn't be able to do much on the site other than check your original wallets and your balances. And if your balance is gone, it was likely that you had Ethereum tokens. But if you have Bitcoin and Tether, I'm willing to make a bet that those are probably still there, as only 10% of their holdings were gone, which probably equates to their Ethereum and ERC20 tokens. And perhaps not even all wallets that hold Ethereum or ERC20 tokens were affected as well. So it's hard to say, but we will know by Monday. So a popular hidden miner, CoinHive, is shutting down their service. Oh no. CoinHive, the JavaScript mining tool, will discontinue its work on March 8th, the day before the planned Monero hard fork. It's going to be another Monero hard fork. Used to mine Monero coins on any type of consumer hardware, CoinHive allowed the hidden or known injection of a script to mine coins for small gains. So when you go to a website and your CPU kicks up, it was CoinHive. Several economic factors led to the decision. So they say the drop in hash rate over 50% of the last Monero hard fork hit us hard. So did the crash of the cryptocurrency market, with the value of Monero depreciating over 85% within a year. This and the announced hard fork and algorithm update of the Monero network on March 9th has led us to the conclusion that we need to discontinue CoinHive. So basically, they haven't been making very much money. So, this CoinHive you could put onto your website so that when people go there, it starts using a little bit of their processing power to mine to mine Monero for you, and likely some of that Monero went to CoinHive devs. So now with the 85% reduction in price, that little bit that's been going to CoinHive is probably way, way, way less than it once was, and I don't know why they say with the drop in hash rate over 50%, that would make it easier to mine technically. So that makes no sense to me, but who knows? And then it also seems pretty clear to me that with the Monero hard fork, they just don't feel like or want to put the resources into updating their JavaScript for every one of their customers or consumers or whatever you want to call them. and that they are just essentially capitulating. So they're going to fork again to get rid of more ASICs that they suspect, and allow miners to catch up a bit faster. So I really like what the Monero devs do, where they fork every now and then. I found it kind of weird that Vertcoin took so long to fork, when they, literally it says the ASIC resistant coin Vertcoin. And when ASICs come out on the Lyra 2, they took months and months. It took them so long to fork. And I just don't understand, as developers, what are you doing in those months that it took you so long to fork? It really doesn't take much to change your algorithm slightly, just to brick ASICs, because even if it's changed somewhat slightly, the ASICs just can't keep up with it, and it's not the exact thing that they were programmed to mine. But who knows? But CoinHive, I'm kind of glad. I don't think I was never a fan of JavaScript mining tools. Like when you go to a site, one example was the Pirate Bay. The Pirate Bay used to just accept donations, and then they had ads. And then for a while there, they took the ads away. And when users went to the Pirate Bay, and I'm not, advocating downloading free stuff, but when users went to the Pirate Bay, they noticed that their CPU spiked, and people hated it. They absolutely hated it and sort of revolted against it. And so they said, okay. We're going to take it away. We're going to bring back the ads, and everything will be fine. And everything was fine. And then I think they actually brought back the JavaScript miner along with the ads as well. And people didn't like that either, of course. If they didn't like it the first time, they're not going to like it the second time. But to each his own, I guess. So moving on, the injured hawk and the crypto zombie. If anyone had any lingering doubt about the future place of crypto in the financial markets, let it be set to rest. So yesterday, one of the oldest and largest Swiss banks, Julius Baer, announced that they will soon be offering a range of new digital assets for their clients. This comes less than 24 hours after news that the NASDAQ has now added 2 new digital currency prices indexes for Bitcoin and Ethereum, as the exchange prepares to offer tradable crypto futures. So they don't offer it yet, NASDAQ, but they are like the second biggest second biggest stock exchange in the world, if I'm not mistaken on that number. But either way, NASDAQ, right? NASDAQ, that's all you got to say. So if they add crypto futures, not bad. Hopefully they're not just paper futures, which they probably will be, which is just not good for Bitcoin, really. So the last 8 months is already being dubbed the crypto winter, and while prices were falling, it was understandable that a large incumbent financial institutions had shelved some of their crypto projects. Now that the market is showing signs that spring is coming, those plans are back on the table. After all, they don't want to miss out on the next bull run. I wouldn't either. It's likely that within the next few months, every portfolio manager in the world will have easy access to trade and invest in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other crypto assets. So now this doesn't have any proof in this article, but it's a good talking point. It really is, that more and more institutions are coming along and, will essentially create a lot of demand for Bitcoin. Now, some of these institutions just trade paper futures, which really doesn't do much for the price of Bitcoin and really is just sort of detrimental, in my opinion. But some of them, like backed futures coming up, will trade actual Bitcoin. And then there's ETFs on the rise that the SEC still has to give the go-ahead to, along with backed futures as well. But you can see that it's really starting to come to fruition. A year ago, we were starting to talk about, the institutions are coming, they're coming. But there was really nothing on the horizon. It was just some money kind of being poured into possible funds to do it. Now real money, hundreds of billions of dollars, is waiting on the sidelines essentially to buy this crypto. So sooner or later here, we're going to see a massive boost. Again, I'm not a big fan of institutionalization or corporatization or super high regulation of cryptocurrencies. I feel like that's sort of the antithesis of Bitcoin. That the institutions get a hold of it, well, then it's just like stock, and it sort of rips it away from the regular people. But I suppose everybody's just excited about the price increase, and why not? Because it's inevitable. Even things like here, like the Facebook reportedly shopping Facebook coin to crypto exchanges. So I think the future is a little bleak in crypto, and I hate to say that. Now, that's aside from Bitcoin. as I think Bitcoin's going to be around for a very long time. Bitcoin mining, Bitcoin trading, that's not going to go away anytime soon. But what I'm talking about is the institutionalization and the corporatization of crypto. We already have JP Morgan making a coin. Now we have Facebook making a coin. And this Facebook coin is supposed to be sent via, Messenger and WhatsApp and Telegram, or Instagram, whatever. And so that's going to appeal to people who don't really get into crypto, who never knew crypto. That Facebook mama that spends 2 hours a day on Facebook. This is not crypto, but these are the ones that are going to win it. So in the .com bubble, we had so many websites, so many decentralized websites. Even though if you count the internet and whatever, right? This website, that website for this, that, and the other thing. And the big winners are the big corporate winners. We got Microsoft coming out on top with Yahoo, Amazon, eBay, all these big corporate things. Not usually the little guy, although it was a little guy who made these, but they got corporatized really fast. And I think that's what's going to happen to crypto. The really popular cryptos are going to surpass Bitcoin in some way, shape, or form, as there's a lot more money than there is Bitcoin market cap. Plain and simple. The market cap of Bitcoin, let's take a look at it, is only $67 billion. That's small potatoes. So these stable coins that are coming out, Facebook is supposed to be a stable coin, JP Morgan stable coin. We're going to have all these stable coins coming out and all these corporate coins that are really going to take it away from the consumer and put it in the hands of the corporate. And it's not going to be good. It's not going to be the same thing. We're going to look back on the original cryptos, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin, even as something as like XRP. We're gonna look back on this stuff and be like, wow, I really miss those days. I really miss those days where I could sign up to an exchange and start just trading. Because it's harder to do that in the stock world. Sure, you could sign up to an exchange in the stock, but those trades sometimes are $8 a piece. So if you just trade a few $100s of crypto, you need to make sure that you made more than $8 on that trade, $5 on that trade before you actually made any money. We're going to miss these days of crypto, and I hate to say it, but I have a very negative outlook on this free, decentralized crypto world that we have coming out. There's going to be so much KYC, laws, regulations that you have to sign up to that everybody's going to know that you're trading crypto. And then it's kind of pointless now that you can't just mine your own crypto and start trading it. The government's going to know everything about it, and they probably already do to some degree, and they just want even more control of that. And when I mean the government, I mean your government, my government, every government. And here's the start of it. Here's truly the start of it. And if you think about it, all the corporations are going to come along and take crypto for themselves and basically make fake crypto and sell it to all kinds of people who have never heard of crypto, who are going to be like, oh, I can send this crypto to somebody over the internet. And it's like, well, we could do that 10 years ago with Bitcoin, but now that it's on Facebook, you know about it. But Facebook coin is a centralized coin. It's an S coin. You know what I mean? And people are going to love it. They're going to eat it up. All the Instagram users. So we are nearing. Within a decade, I would say we are nearing the end of crypto already. We spent 10 years as a decentralized crypto, and the corporations, governments, institutions are really going to take it over. And mark my words, 10 years from now, somebody will watch this video on YouTube and they'll be like, wow, this guy was right. And it's not that I was right. It's not that I was so revolutionary that I'm so much smarter than everybody else. It's just common sense. The corporations are going to take it over. They're going to make it lame. They're going to take it all for themselves and make it harder for you to get in. So Facebook is hoping to succeed where Bitcoin failed. Where did it fail? I don't know. Citing multiple anonymous sources who spoke on the condition of anonymity, the Times pieces together the alleged contours of the project. So Facebook plans to rehaul its messaging infrastructure and integrate its 3 wholly owned apps, WhatsApp, Messenger, and Instagram, under one canopy, a crypto-powered payment system that would operate from within a messaging system. The Times notes is an idea being hotly pursued by several global messaging giants, such as Korea's Kakao, Line in Japan, and Russia-developed Telegram. According to NYT, Facebook launched its new crypto project led by ex-PayPal president David Marcus. So Facebook has reportedly employed over 50 engineers to develop its cryptocurrency. Three unnamed sources told NYT. A further two told the newspaper that importance of keeping the project under wraps is such that the relevant team has been given an office with separate keycard access to keep details from other employees. Notably, five sources claiming to be briefed on the team's work alleged the forthcoming coin was most likely a fiat-pegged stablecoin tied to the value of three different national fiat currencies rather than just one that you will be able to send over Facebook. So again, this doesn't make sense to me. So how are you going to get this stable coin? Well, you're not going to mine it, that's for sure, because it's going to be mad centralized to Facebook's ownership. It's corporate crypto, and that's what is going to happen. Everybody is going to need a just in the same way that even mundane stores like Kmart has to have a Twitter. Every single corporation has a Twitter. Heinz Ketchup has a Twitter. Mustard, Twitter. Kmart, Twitter. Doesn't matter. Burlington Coat Factory, Twitter, right? Everyone has to have a Twitter. You'd be crazy to have a corporation, a major multi-million-dollar corporation, without a Twitter anymore. And the same way is going to be in the future, in a few years, 5 years, 10 years, 3 months, who knows? That every corporation is going to have a cryptocurrency. Or in the way that a lot of corporations today, when you go into a store and you say, do you finance? They say yes. And what do you get? You don't get a bank card. You don't get a credit card like a Kmart credit card. You don't get a Burlington Coat Factory credit card. You don't get a dentist credit card. You get a Synchrony bank card. If you've never heard of Synchrony, Synchrony is a credit card that offers corporations and everything in between a way to finance for you. And it's made for medical, it's made for everything in between. And so if you go into a store and they say, like JCPenney or anything like that, you say, do you finance? Yes, we do. Just fill out this card and we'll send you a Synchrony bank card. It's not a JCPenney card, it's a Synchrony card for JCPenney. So there's going to be something like that. Either every corporation is going to have their own crypto so that you can go in there and spend your crypto at their store and only at their store, or they're going to have to hire a third-party system like Synchrony who's going to make a cryptocurrency for every single corporation. You could do that easy. You could just make an ERC20 token or something like that, or a very simple token. For a Kmart token, JCPenney token, right, that you have to buy, and now it's like a gift card, right? So if you get a gift card, you pay $20, right, and you can only spend it at that store. You can only spend it at that store, and here's the thing, here's where they make their money. Corporations make billions, millions, whatever, on gift cards. And you might ask, how, MrSotko? You tell me how, and here's how. Among other ways, probably. First of all, you get a $20 gift card from a friend. You get it for your birthday, you get it for whatever, a gift. So you get a $20 gift card, so you go to Walmart, so you go to whatever store you got it for, and you go in there and you buy a couple things. Well, let's say the bill comes to $18, well, or $19.50, right? So now you got 50 cents, or you got 2 cents left over, or 5 cents left over on this card that they manufactured in mass and probably cost them less than pennies to make each individual card. Well, you're not going to go back in the store and spend something that's 5 cents, are you? And if you do, you're going to buy a product that's $10 and you're going to get 5 cents off, because first thing you're going to do is swap your card. They're like, okay, now you still owe us $9.95. And you go, okay, and you pull out your debit card. So that brought you back into the store to spend that remaining 50 cents, to spend that remaining $3. Or you might have just said, screw this 50 cents or 20 cents, 10 cents on this card. You throw it in the trash, right? But that's not lost money. They already got your money. They got that $20 from whoever bought it to give it to a friend, right? So they didn't even have to sell you a 50-cent item to get the rest of that 50 cents. So that's how they make their money. Or it makes you go in and buy way more. You might as well buy $100 worth of stuff and then feel like you're getting $20 off because you swiped your card and now you only owe $80. So it made you come in and spend a lot of money. And I think that's what corporations will do in the future. So moving on, Ethereum upgrades as the hard fork is over. So the 6th and 7th system-wide upgrade of the software Doug Constantinople and St. Petersburg respectively rolled out in the main network at block 7,280,000. As seen on blockchain monitoring website Fork Monitor, there is so far no evidence of a chain split that would suggest a portion of Ethereum users are still running an older Ethereum software. Past hard forks of the Ethereum blockchain have encountered such setbacks, most notably in 2016 with Ethereum Classic, a group that continued running an older software instance when a controversial upgrade was introduced. So it's all over. Constantinople has come through, has multiple upgrades on the blockchain, and now everybody is getting 2 Ethereum per reward as opposed to 3. Even though the blocks are coming actually pretty fast, the difficulty has gone down a little bit, and the blocks are coming really fast. So I think what it is that the difficulty went down just because Ethereum, it just went down for whatever reason, and now I think everybody's piling onto it because they think that this halvening is going to inherently raise the price of Ethereum. But the problem is we don't actually have any evidence that halvenings, well, this is technically a thirdening, but I'm going to call it a halvening anyway, that halvenings or thirdenings actually affect the price of crypto. So you could see it with Bitcoin in 2012 and 2016, but was it because of mass adoption starting? Was it because an exchange came out? Was it because the price was naturally going to go up at that time? We don't really know. There's no real hard evidence out of 2 instances. That's essentially like grabbing 2 random men from planet Earth, handing them a baseball and saying, see how far you can throw this baseball. They both throw the baseball and you say, that's how far the average man can throw a baseball. Well, that's total BS because that's only 2 instances out of, 3-4 billion men on the planet, right? That's not a very good statistic. So while it does create more demand in the long run, what Ethereum hard fork could do is, since it lowered profits for GPU miners, because now you're only getting 2 reward as opposed to 3 going out in a pool every 20 seconds, 30 seconds or so when the blocks are found. So that is lowering everybody's profit essentially by a third, depending on price increase, yada yada. There's a lot of factors that would go into that. And it might convince people to go, you know what, I'm just going to stop mining this because I'm not making that much money. And I'm going to mine something else with my GPU farm or my GPUs, right? And then they might be like, well, I still want Ethereum though. So here's what I'll do is I'll just mine something else and buy Ethereum. And that would raise the price. But there's no real evidence that a halvening actually increases the price. I remember mining Vertcoin and it halved from 50 to 25 and it definitely did not affect the price. The only thing that it did immediately was affect the profitability drastically. And then the price of Vertcoin went up to $10 from like 4 or 5. But that was because of the bull market. I mean, Bitcoin, after all, was $20,000 at the time, and Vertcoin went to $10. But was that because of the halvening? I don't think so. I think it was because the whole bear market was going up. There was a demand from miners. There was demand for people to buy Bitcoin. In the same way that smaller cap coins go up because they're tied to Bitcoin Satoshi. So if Bitcoin goes to 20,000, all these other coins go up because now the individual Satoshi is worth more. So if you still have it valued at 300 Satoshi or 3,000 Satoshi or 5,000 Satoshi, that 5,000 Satoshi is worth 5 times as much if Bitcoin went to 20,000 or so, whatever, 6 times as much. Let's just call it that. So now that 5,000 Satoshi is worth 6 times as much as it originally was, and therefore that coin is now worth more money in terms of fiat value. And at the same time, people see that extreme growth, so then they buy into the coin. So that's why these smaller cap coins go up more disproportionately, not because they're halvening, but because of the Satoshi. So we really don't have that evidence, even though people claim that there is. We've only had 2 halvenings in Bitcoin. Sure, that creates more demand, but it definitely doesn't create more demand right away. It just means that miners don't make as much money. And I can personally attest to that by mining and making less money during halvenings. And then it's later on that the price increases. But was it because of that halvening demand? Or was it because people gave up mining and decided to buy it instead? Or was it because of other circumstantial circumstances? Again, I don't know, that's a weird one. Or was it because of circumstance? Maybe a new exchange came out. Maybe good news came out. Maybe, good news came out, it started exploding. Maybe another country started buying it, it started exploding. Maybe the word got out. Maybe BitConnect came along and convinced everybody to buy Bitcoin so that they could participate in a Ponzi scheme. Was it the halvening, or was it BitConnect? Or was it the halvening, or was it because Coinbase came out in 2013 or so, and then raised the price to $1,100 and then crashed to $100? Was that because of the 2012 halvening? Or was it because of Coinbase? We don't know. So we will have to see how this happens. Now, I think Ethereum will go up in price eventually, but again, when you see everything going up in price, you might say to yourself, I might say, well, I don't think this coin is going to go back up in price. And when everything goes up in price and Bitcoin rockets to 10, 12, $15,000, of course that other coin is going up in price because everybody's in a buying frenzy right now. That doesn't mean it was because it's so useful or because its use case or its demand is so high. It just means everybody's buying it because it's a bull market now and everybody's buying and the Satoshi's worth more and everybody's buying, because Bitcoin is kind of weird with the whole, things being paired to Satoshi and not to US dollar. These lower cap coins that are only paired to Satoshi with no US dollar pairing is a new thing in the world. Stocks do not work that way. You don't just trade. You could trade stocks, I suppose, but this is definitely pretty new. This definitely feels very new that everything is tied to the Satoshi, yet it's tied to the US dollar at the same time. So it makes coins go up disproportionately. When Bitcoin goes up and everybody is a feeding frenzy into Bitcoin, it's going to raise the price of everything else because of the Satoshi. Then when they see that raising disproportionately because they're a small cap coin, it doesn't take much to make them go up, then people buy into that one specifically, and then it goes up even more disproportionately. So weird world that we are living in with crypto, and certainly a very exciting one. So coin market cap here, 129 billion market cap. So we've gone down a little bit. We've been trading almost virtually sideways, losing just a little bit, but mind you, 129 billion 965 million market cap. So it's just short of 130 billion. So we're trading sideways. 3,854 Bitcoin still. Nothing too crazy going on right now. We'll have to see how this Ethereum hard fork continues, and waiting for backed futures, ETFs, and all these institutions to come along. And I'm very excited to see what happens in crypto like that. But also a little negative in the sense that they're just going to gobble it all up. It's already proven right now that all the biggest top 5% of Bitcoin wallets are growing drastically. So it's sort of like the 1% growing, just like how we got away from crypto. Now the 1%, because of the 1% or whatever. I don't know, Occupy Wall Street. You guys remember that, right? If not, you're too young. And, the same thing is happening with crypto. And when the institution comes in, they're not going to bring in a few million. They're going to bring in billions. They may bring in trillions. So make sure you hold on to your Bitcoin, because when you sell it, somebody picks it up from you cheaper at some point, and we'll hold on to that Bitcoin in a wallet with 100,000, 200,000, a million Bitcoin, something like that. And, when it really, really goes to a super high price, they're going to be the ones that super bomb the price back down from 20,000 to 3,000 or something like that, or from 30,000 to 10,000. There's going to be a massive crashing because they're not just holding for fun. They will sell at some point. Probably wisely and slowly, but or maybe even off the market in a dark pool. But that Bitcoin is going to make its way into circulation eventually and start lowering the price. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and as usual, I will see you guys next time.